So once again, we're on the precipice of the 2021 PlayStation Fiesta Bowl 50th anniversary game between the number 25 Oregon Ducks and the number 10 Iowa State Cyclones. The field is here and painted and ready to be going. And we're going to start the press conference with a brief comment from Coach Cristobal and Coach Campbell, and then we'll take your Q&A. And Coach Cristobal, we'll start with you. The team landed last night. Kind of the vibe and the excitement of the team as they deplaned, got on the buses, and you had your initial team meeting here in Arizona.
Sure. Well, first off, good morning, everybody. Appreciate everybody joining us. The excitement is off the charts. The opportunity to be here on this type of national stage against the caliber and such a great opponent like Iowa State. The juice is high. It's exciting. Certainly grateful for the opportunity and looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach Campbell, this is the first ever PlayStation Fiesta Bowl and the first ever New Year's Six Bowl appearance for Iowa State, and we're almost 24 hours away from it. Why don't you share kind of the sentiment for your team right now?
Yeah, I think for our kids, it's been, it's been such a long season, and their ability to stay the course through the season, and then to be able to come to this point of the season, play a team like Oregon on a stage like the Fiesta Bowl. It's just, I think, a general excitement for the hard work and the effort that our kids have been able to put in. And, I would echo what Coach Cristobal said, just honored and really grateful to have this opportunity to finish the season against such a worthy opponent.
Fantastic. So we will start. If you can please use the raise your hand functionality here on the Zoom. I think by now all of you guys know how to do that. We will entertain your questions. If you could just identify yourself and to which coach your question is for, we'll go from there. First question is from Jeff Metcalf from the Arizona Republic. Jeff?
Yeah, this is for both coaches. With everything that's happened this year, what do you think that's been learned? I'm talking about college football in general. What do you think that's been learned that might be applicable going forward to next season? Some things that might be different that have occurred because of this year.
Coach Campbell?
Yeah, from our end, I really feel like this has, from quarantine through the entirety of this season, there's been so much that's been learned in a lot of ways. How you do spring practice, how you do the summer, how you practice in fall, even to the point of these bowl games, to be honest with you. I think, in the Big 12, we played pods of three games, and then you had a bye week. I thought there was a lot of benefit to the health and safety of our players. And so, I really hope that we can take what's learned in our profession in this sport. And, I think there's a lot of things that can make our profession in this sport better for coaches and for our players. And, I think there has been a lot learned. And I know from, at least in our program, there'll be a lot of growth from it that we've taken and been able to maybe better ourselves in a lot of ways.
Mario?
Yeah, certainly a lot of the same things by Coach Campbell. You really realize how much developing the intangibles that go with being a good football team. How you miss opportunities to develop those moments, those team bonding opportunities, the galvanizing of a team, the growth of its leadership, just all the functions and activities that involve guys being together and coaches and an entire organization spending time together. You realize how important those things are. So once there's clearance and there's more normalcy as it relates to life as this pandemic, we work our way through it. I think that'll be a big thing. And I think things like the advent of Zoom and how that changed the ability to have team meetings and position meetings at home and be able to recruit and bring that to households as opposed to people having to be at your place all the time. And the list goes on and on and on, but certainly I think probably what really stands out is how to never take opportunities like this for granted, because it changed a lot of people's perspectives and certainly changed a lot of lives that a lot of people are still working through it. And we're much more fortunate than a lot of people out there in the world in the way that they've had to deal with, with the pandemic.
Next up, we'll go to Adam Rittenberg from ESPN.com.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy New Year. I asked Matt this question earlier, so Mario, I'll ask it for you. There's more quarterbacks from the state of Arizona starting New Year's 6 games than any other state, and obviously both of you guys have those, and I know you have Ty coming in as well. What would you kind of attribute this to, this rise in quarterbacks from that state that obviously are going all over the country to play and have success?
Two things. Population has exploded, in the state of Arizona. And then just the caliber of coaching that you have here. I mean, you've got great programs that have been great programs for a long time. And, as they continue to invest more and more in their programs, the development of their players and their people, it just, you watch the amount of talent that's being developed. It's not just talent that's getting here, it's talent that's being developed here. And it's no longer a secret. I mean, it's certainly a focal point of our program to really establish great ties with the state of Arizona. And this year was probably our biggest year recruiting in the state of Arizona. And we want to grow that more and more, but certainly grateful to the coaches out here that gave us the opportunity and welcomed us to their programs to introduce ourselves and our program to its players.
We'll go to John Schaefer from WOI.
This is kind of for both coaches here. When you look across college football, players are opting out of bowl games across the board. Is that a concerning trend to you? And then how have you managed to keep your players, engaged for this week?
Yeah, John, from my end of it, I think every kid's situation is different. I think every situation is different. And at the end of the day, our responsibility is to do what's best for any young player in our program. And, I think as the world continues to change of college athletics and professional athletics, and I think your mission is to serve the young players in your program the best way you possibly can. And, I think from a focal point from our end, you're talking about, now our 12th game, and the one thing that I said at the very beginning, that you have to be able to stay the course in a season like this, you have to have great leadership. And, from our end, our senior leadership has been the navigating force for us to be able to stay the course this long. And, you're talking really since May of navigating this, together. And our senior leadership's really done a great job of giving us a chance to be successful.
Yeah, no doubt. It's certainly different for every single player in every situation. We don't judge. We don't. And there are reasons that are legit. And when you look around the world, heck, coaches are opting out, right? I mean, there's signings going on. Next thing you know, coaches are out the door. So we don't judge anybody or anything. We're thankful for the fact that the program and everyone that surrounds it provides these guys with two promises: hard work and an opportunity. And with that, being very honest, being very regimented, being fair, at the same time, caring, providing the right type of environment for guys to be successful in. And if you do that, you give yourself the best chance to promote the type of program, the type of continuity that you want. And but at the end of the day, it still has to be a choice, and leadership on this football team has done a really good job choosing to forge ahead and put together, a real special season for our guys. Proud of them for that, but certainly wouldn't judge them one way or the other. Whoever's going to play football we're going to be there to coach them. So.
Thank you, Coach. Josh Christensen from KCRG.
Yes, this is for Coach Campbell. Coach, I know you were asked about this maybe about a month ago, but I wanted to ask you about Landon Akers and just what he has been to the program, being there for almost 6 years. And also I understand that he is considered also, he does a lot for you guys on special teams and on offense, but I understand he's also considered maybe the team barber. So has he ever tried to cut your hair, if you want to give that away, if he has?
Well, first of all, I have not let him cut my hair, but he has done a great job, in terms of becoming the team barber. I would say he's generated a really good business for himself along the way. I think for me, what I really appreciate about Landon is the humility and the lack of ego that he's always had in terms of how he's approached what he's done. You know, I when I talk about Landon, I talk about the glue of Iowa State football. And to be honest with you, it's really how we have to live here with Landon Akers that he's going to reach his full potential. And really over the last 2 years, Landon's done that. You know, he's a young man that starts on every special team for us and plays an elite role. He has built himself into an outstanding wide receiver. What he's done for this football team this year, and really you go back even through last year, he was a guy that was in critical moments making really critical plays for us. And so, you know, Landon's an absolute product of he's developed to become the absolute best player he can be, and he will leave this program reaching his full potential and has really gave a great measuring stick for all those that will come after him to say, man, I want to be like that guy. This guy did everything to better this football program. So we're really proud of him and really grateful for him. And maybe now that he's gone, maybe I will trust him to cut my hair at some point.
We'll make sure we get that one on film, Coach.
Yeah.
James Crapia from the Oregonian.
Mario, wanted to get an update on some personnel. CJ, Sala, Ajax, and Dante. Have they all traveled, and will they all play?
They've all traveled. They've all been practicing, so we're hopeful that they will play. It'll be a game time decision maybe before that, but I feel like they do have a chance to play.
AJ Jacobson from Rivals.
Yeah, this question is for both coaches. Looking at this matchup in the Fiesta Bowl tomorrow, your two defenses, very strong, but in different ways. When you're preparing your offenses to face these defenses, what has stood out to you?
You know, from my end, I think when you look at this defense that we're about to play, I think the physicality, the length, and the explosion of the secondary in terms of their ability to break on balls and their ability to make plays on balls, I think are really evident. Their front seven, front seven or front six at times, are just really impressive in terms of their ability to win at the point of attack and their ability to create pressure on the opposing offense. So a really great challenge for our offensive football team, and a lot of respect for what we see on the defensive side of the film.
We in Iowa State, again, what stands out right away is physicality. They get to the ball in a hurry. They get there with bad intentions, and they force a lot of issues, force negative plays, force that ball to come out. Very disciplined, and not just with eye discipline in terms of knowing where your help is. So when they get there in packs and in bunches. They not only prevent explosive plays, they create explosive plays on their side, again, for forcing negative plays or whatnot. But, you've got a lot of power up front that collapses the pocket, from the nose tackle to it's a different front. We don't face the odd front very often in our conference, not like this. And it's something that's very different for us, but it works because it's coached really well and because of the explosive players. And up front, that front seven causes issues because it closes the gaps. It knocks people back. Tremendous technique, feet in the ground, flat backs, hands inside, knocking people back. Again, collapsing the pocket. So those are things that you have to be at your best against, and you have to play your best physical and have your best mental approach to have success.
Go next to Randy Peterson of the Des Moines Register. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning. Matt, this is for you. I've got two things. Haycock yesterday or a couple of days ago, whenever it was, we talked to him, said he was messing around with Ishim and said something about that Ishim should be ready to go because he's fresh. What have you seen from Ishim since the Oklahoma game and missing essentially 3/4 of that game, and what kind of determination do you anticipate he'll have tomorrow? And one more thing, you gave Rory Walling, put him on scholarship. Can you just address that a little bit also, please?
Yep. Yeah. I think from Ishim, Ishim has lived through hard. So, missing 3/4 of a football game, that's not hard. That's tough. That's circumstantial, but that's not hard. And so, I think really I've seen the same Ishim Young, just kind of come back and go back to work. Hasheem cares. Hasheem has come here and has had a huge impact in our program. And, I think he's just kind of come back and went back to work. And, to be honest with you, I think we're all just really proud of how he handled, that game on last Saturday. And then really proud of how he handled the response to it. And so he's just kind of come back to work. And, I think just his growth in general from game 1 to, what will be game 12, I really hope he can continue to grow and get better, because that's really what he's done all year for us. From a Rory Walling standpoint, when you talk, I was just talking about Landon Akers, and I think Rory is a young man that's had that same process here at Iowa State in terms of his development and growth. And, I think you always want to reward young men that deserve to be rewarded. And obviously what Rory's done, he starts on 4 special teams for us. He's a guy that, man, he can go in at safety. He can go in at running back. He can fill a lot of holes and a lot of roles for this program and this team. And then you talk about who he is as a leader in this program. And I think that's something that's equal to what he does for us. I think his leadership, those intangibles are really special. So there's no greater there was no greater way to kind of, I think, leave home and come out here than to put Rory on scholarship in doing the right thing by our program and doing the right thing for Rory and his family.
Lauren Williamson from the Oregon Ducks Football News.
Mario, there's been a disparity in games played this year, obviously, between you and Iowa State. Most coaches will tell you when you get to this point of the year, you want to be playing your best football. I just wondered if you feel that in these last couple of weeks, if you are on that level, are you guys playing your best football now here on the eve of the Fiesta Bowl?
Well, we certainly did 2 weeks ago, so that's certainly a positive indication of the way that we're trending. And this will be the second game we play in 4 weeks. That's a little bit different too. So it's been that kind of a year, and I don't think there's a handbook or any true answers as to what's the formula to get there to play your best. But I know that we've had a lot of growth, especially between the ears, upstairs, in terms of maturity, in terms of understanding what we are as a team and what level of focus and intensity we have to get to play our best football. So we feel really good about that. Our players do as well. And, just get along the lines of making sure that every single part of the process has a 1-0 aspect to it. And if we can do that, we feel that we can always put our best product on the field.
We'll go back to James Crapia, who had a follow-up question.
For both coaches, starting with Matt, story really for next week, but I was talking with Todd Berry, and I know the AFCA has been advocating for an expanded spring in light of last spring, a screwed up offseason, and obviously not 15 bowl practices for those of you who are in bowl games. If you got an expanded spring, one, I'm assuming you'd be in favor of it, you're a coach, but how many practices would you like and over what time period? Starting with Matt and then Mario.
James, I think I'm probably in the opposite realm of maybe that world. I think what we've learned along the way is health and safety in a lot of ways of keeping your team healthy and being ready to be its best when their best is needed. Maybe there is some great value of reduction of the spring. And, I think what you love about spring practice is the fundamental work that you get with your players. And, I think the technical work that you get with the players. And so I think finding that happy medium that you can continue to do those things and grow in that way. Man, do you need to go put your pads on and play football? I think that there's some value that we learned along the way that maybe, what occurred this past year is really benefited the health and the safety of your team during the long haul of the season. I know from our end, we've found some great benefits. So, I think whatever the rules are or what they look like, we'll find the best way to develop our team through those rules.
Yeah, James, I think it'd be hard to squeeze anything else in. I don't think it fits. I think everyone wants more time with the players, and I'd welcome it in the form of skill instruction, of meeting time, guest speakers, team activities that maybe could be, more along the lines of, right, these are not part of accountable hours, but it has to be a team event. You can take your team on some type of developmental just venture. But in terms of trying to squeeze more padded days between now and a 21 season that's on schedule, I don't know if that's fair to the players, and I don't know if it really helps you. It's like that old saying, right? It's easy to be tough with somebody else's body, right? Well, I think these guys have played far enough into the winter where, everything seems to fall in line and be back on schedule with a normal spring and then into a normal summer.
We're getting close to the end here. We have Matt Preem, then John Schaefer and Randy Peterson to close out the morning. Matt?
Yeah, Mario, could you just maybe speak of the importance of the seniors who elected to come back and play this season? I know a couple of them had to make decisions of going pro or playing this year before COVID, and they ended up staying. And then I guess the second part of that question is just, what's the process now with seniors for their possibility to come back to school next year? How do you handle that?
Yeah, well, the first thing is, it's a lot of credit to the seniors for what they did. The Pac-12 was in a very different scenario than the rest of the country. You got to remember something. Our guys, all our seniors elected to come back for their senior year. They came back. They were in the summer program. It wasn't until the season was postponed without any effective or true date where then the decision was made, okay, well, now we really don't have an opportunity or may not have an opportunity to play. So then they moved on. So those are four, NFL players, two of them generational, that were set and came back to play. And when that was stripped of them, they had to make those decisions. And a lot of them had the uncertainty of what was to follow. So that being said, all the guys that did, even after the fact, decided to come back, they played a tremendous role because I think there's been so much of a focus on the opt out, and that word is out there. I don't think there's enough focus on opting in. And you're looking at two teams that are playing tomorrow of teams that have opted in, right? Teams that made a decision to play because not only has there been a safe environment provided, but there's a tremendous cultures coming together and providing an opportunity for these guys to chase their dreams and fulfill and accomplish and set their legacies going forward. So that's my feeling on that. In terms of the guys for next year, I guess they're tabbing that. A lot of new terms, opt in, opt out. Super seniors, is that the word we use now for seniors that come back? Super seniors, okay. In terms of that, we're meeting with each guy individually. We're respecting their space and having all focus on this right here. We stayed in town for Christmas because we felt it was the safest way to establish and maintain protocol and get here effectively. So after this game, they're going to have 2.5, maybe a little bit more time, weeks off, I should say. But in that time, we will be meeting and talking about what the future holds to see how it fits, what situation is best for each player. And we'll go from there. But certainly, yeah, we'd love to have a bunch of these guys back. They played, what was it, the 6 games and now a 7th game, and we'll see one by one and figure that out.
Thank you, John Schaefer from WOI.
For both coaches, what do the next 24 hours look like for you specifically? And then are there ever nerves associated the night before a game like this?
Yeah, John, I think from our end of it, that's the beauty of, playing on a Saturday, and there's some normalcy to really the whole thing. With this year being different and us kind of coming in last night, I feel like our 24 hours really matched the 24 hours that you would have before any game that you played all season. So I think that part's really, really positive. And, I think whether it's nerves or just a general excitement that to play on a stage like this, again, against an opponent that we're about to play against, I think all those things run through you if you're a competitor. And I think myself, our staff, our kids will feel all those things.
Yes, sir. Very similar, normal processes. This will be the first time that our players play in front of human beings, like actual fans in the stands. First time their parents, one and only time though, that their parents will have a chance to see the 2020 team play. So while at the same time understanding that the best way you can honor that opportunity is by playing your best and be focused on what your job is, and making sure you're playing and showing how much this means to you and to your teammates. But yeah, big stages. And, you know, these guys can't help. They turn on the TV and every other second there's something about the Fiesta Bowl on there and the matchup. And they know the caliber of opponent that we're playing. They know it's a great football team. So they're very, very eager and excited about the opportunity, but the processes for the rest of the day and tomorrow will be normal game day processes.
Thank you. And we'll finish out here with Randy Peterson from the Des Moines Register.
Matt, just a couple things. Same question to you that was asked earlier about the seniors, the quote unquote super seniors. I like that phrase. Number one about that, and then just the housekeeping thing. Any surprises from the last couple of games that player wise?
Yeah, no, I think from no surprises, number one, I think, like I said, we're very similar process of what Coach Cristobal said. We stayed in town over the last 2 weeks, have treated it kind of like the bye weeks that we've had over the course of the season, which were positive. And the senior piece of it, those are conversations, just like Coach said, that we get 3 weeks till the spring semester starts here at Iowa State. So, we've really kind of tried to put our focus on putting a great finish to who this team has the ability to become, and, really put our time and effort on individual conversations till after the game.
That concludes this morning's press conference with Coach Campbell and Coach Cristobal. Normally at this time, we'd have a nice little photo op with our $1.2 million Fiesta Bowl trophy at the hotel. Maybe we can do a virtual fist bump between Matt and Mario, and we'll see y'all out here at State Farm Stadium tomorrow, 2 p.m. kickoff live on ESPN. We appreciate everyone's coverage and participation throughout the week in these unique times. We will be transcribing this press conference and also be posting the video of it here shortly and sending it out to everybody. Mario, Matt, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you.